Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, how are you guys doing? Welcome to Divide and Conquer's ReRoll podcast. Tonight's topic is going to be writing horror, or just horror in general for RPGs. Um, and I had oh, I lost it.
It's
It's
okay.
gone.
It's
It's
okay.
gone. No, it's gone. It's gone.
It's
I
okay, bro. Our brains are fried from
Yeah.
this weekend because we had a weekend.
We did. We had a great weekend. I wanted to
Yeah.
start out this
I know you
podcast.
did because my phone dings every time you guys put a message on there. Throughout the night, I was just getting dings all night long.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So I knew you guys were at it.
Yep.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
We did our second year for Extra Life. Our first year we wanted to make $100 because we were brand new to this and we're a small time little stream group. But we made 400 and something, very close to 500 bucks. So we're like, all right, this year let's have the reasonable goal of 500. We didn't quite reach it, so let's try to reach it again. And we surpassed it. First, we surpassed it by we surpassed the 500, so we made the goal 750. We surpassed that, so we made the goal 1,000. And at the end of the night, we reached $850, which is amazing.
That is impressive.
Yeah. Extra Life sent us a little good job, guys, which made me feel so happy.
Oh, happiness.
Yeah, happy.
So next year's 750s.
Yeah, next year let's start at 750 and let's let's put the reach goal for 1,000.
Yeah, I can't wait to start planning for next year. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
fun ideas to go through.
I may have to get involved next year. It was just too soon for me and all this crap that's going on over here. So
I understand. I know that.
I'll even run a game. I'll figure out a game.
Ooh.
Nice.
Then let's do
That'd be
that.
fun.
Hopefully, if we can get everything organized and get a handle, maybe we can now because of the turning of events that happened not too long ago.
Yeah.
We can have a better handle on the corona situation and maybe start doing more things physically at here. So
That'd be fantastic.
That would be freaking great.
You need to figure out how many months in advance you need to start planning this and putting it together.
Yes, that's very true. Yeah, because I know we because it was for my end, all it was just a battle royale. I was like, don't worry about it, guys. You have your characters planned. Just bump them up to 18. So it was very little prep from our end. The Demi-Doodles, you guys had your let's just chill and draw. Tabitha did a lot of the work with her campaign.
Tabitha, did a lot. Oh, she did a lot of prep work for her Lord of the Rings one shot, and I'm so proud of her for it.
I know
It was such a fun game.
I want to tease with maybe if we keep the same characters since it's level 18, we can do the hardest dungeon ever, which is
Absolutely.
in the Horde the Tomb of Horrors, which is appropriate for tonight's conversation because it's horror.
No.
There's.
I thought of it. I was like, oh no, putting Xavier through Tomb of Horrors. Oh no.
They apparently it was such a tough. If I recall the story correctly, apparently it was such a tough campaign or module since the entire module is pretty much a dungeon that they had to release a second version as a kind of here you go. You guys can kill the baddie, but not really because he already left and it doesn't matter because he's a demi-lich. So whatever.
Demi-Lich.
Yeah, Tomb of Annihilations, Tomb of Horror.
Good stuff.
Good stuff, yeah.
It's good stuff. If you really want to punish your players, yes.
Yeah. It's like, oh, the serpent god, once she opens her eyes, the world will end, but there's also a T-Rex god outside. They're duking it out. There is this copy of a clone lich who's so old they forgot it was a copy, and now it's going to do experiments on Nephilims. And then the party's over here just like, we're gonna fight crawfish people.
Let's get them crawfish. Get them.
It's like, how absurd is this campaign? All right.
Yes.
But yeah, so we raised some monies. It's a happies. We played for I think it was 16 hours at the end of the day.
Yeah, by the end of Debbie Plains, it was like we were streaming for like 16 hours.
We had a hour buffer in between Tabitha's Lord of the Rings game and the Battle Royale, and that buffer turned into a game time, and so most of us did not rest until 1 or 2 in the morning.
Yep.
Yeah, it was y'all did excellent as you guys
Yeah.
one round Orcus, which is impressive.
He was like, all right, 10 minutes, kill Orcus, and we're like, all right, we will.
You guys have 1 round. Can you kill Orcus?
And then the wizard popped the wish spell, and we're like, oh no.
Oh,
Or the sorcerer, excuse me. Oh my goodness. It was a flawless plan.
Yeah.
Cole certainly had it in clutch by dropping the nuke at the end.
Yep. Sphere of Annihilation on top of Orcus.
I have a Sphere of Annihilation.
Yeah.
Spell along with it.
Technically, just letting you know, as soon as you touch the Sphere of Annihilation, you and the dragon needed to make me strength saving throws and intelligence checks, but whatever, it's fine.
Well, whatever. Orcus died.
Orcus died. And then Orcus needs to make an intelligence check, see if he can control it, but whatever.
He was already dealing with Sonya, and Sonya was too much for him.
With Sonya, and that's all that mattered. He was like, I'll concentrate on this.
I gotta concentrate on her because she scares me.
She's the big baddie.
The demon prince of the undead, and Sonya's the one thing that just makes him go, no.
No, please, no.
I can handle anything in any realm of existence except her.
Yeah.
Get her away from me.
Pretty much. That's how it turned out.
I'm just imagining Sonya walking up to Orcus and just like doing the whole make you flinch thing, and he's like,
Hey.
Leave me alone. Stop it.
Oh man, yeah. Just a little. I guess I for the other games in the Theros game, they finally are realizing that all these chosens of their gods have some flaw to them, and they're trying to like gain that spark back in the Harry Potter group. They finished their dungeon in Alexandria, and now they're in another dungeon.
They killed a Sphinx, like no biggie.
They killed the Sphinx by asking it a question it did not know the answer to.
Only they would do that.
And guess who did that? Sonya.
Of course she did.
Sonya's like, let me ask the one question you don't know the answer to. And burned down the Library of Alexandria, which was the Sphinx. They're really close to they're in the end game. Like they're at the start of the last movie in their series.
Good lord.
Yeah, and in Second World, I did not realize how much information you guys picked up last gigs since I was writing the recap. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, they learned this, and they learned this, and this, and oh my god, this too, and oh yeah, this. Oh yeah, at the end, they also figured this one out. And
right.
It's like, oh. It's, you guys are in the middle of a war, and Nova really knows what's happening since the key player is somewhere out there in the mountains. Just out there. Oh, but yeah, it's I can't wait. And there's still a couple of arcs that I have in the back of my head to play, so it's like, after this gets settled, you still have to do the Absalom stuff. You still have to do the forest things. You have to do something I'm excited for something that I can't say, and then the big one that I can't say, and then you have to do Ariel's arc. Like that's
I am so excited for Absalom because I can't wait to get into some more Cole lore.
What about Absalom?
Yes. Tap in the background. What did you say about Absalom?
What? Huh?
Don't worry about it.
What'd you say?
But I know West's immediate plan right now. He's like, hey, I heard that there's this Doomwalker fucking shit up for everybody. Let's fix that.
Yeah.
She sounds like a problem.
She does.
First.
And I was in DMs. I was talking to Lynn how Addie isn't really happy with all this like. We're doing this for the greater good. That's kind of like the mentality. But this Doomwalker has successfully told these individuals, like you guys experience it with the Goliaths.
Yeah.
You follow us to our camp, kill everybody at our camp. It doesn't matter. The plan still continues because we don't know what the plan is. All I know is that I follow, and I'm getting more than I ever wanted. I'm getting more fights. We're getting more food. We're getting more land.
Yeah.
Like, our village has expanded to conquer all this, and we're going to take Whitestone. So whatever she says we're doing, and it's working. And it's like, somehow she's also contracted lycanthrope individuals within the forest, giving
Yeah, that
them
bothers
promises. And somehow she's tied in with the gnolls. Somehow she's tied in with the hags.
She makes me nervous.
It's funny that you say those words because that's
That makes me more nervous, Jesus.
yeah, it's really funny. I have
no.
scenes planned. This
Oh God.
because of West's backstory and region.
Oh.
I'm not saying this is West's arc, but
No, I know.
West, we're putting you through everything right now. We're like, all right, go through the obstacle course and do it again. Now do it faster.
All right, now you're gonna do this obstacle course, but it's gonna be on fire. Oh, and by the way, you're probably poisoned and dying. Go now. You're like, oh, okay.
There's a really angry guy yelling at you in the corner.
It's a really angry guy that's sitting behind me, yelling at me the whole way. How dare you? How dare you make me think of every sporting event I've attended?
Speaking of which, a thing that I didn't write down but just popped into, how do you think Wes feels after Grog's encounter with him?
He
like, because you physically, excuse me, that you metaphysically in your mind space, were like. Because when I asked, like, what are you going to do when Dis was like, oh, do I get the reins? Can I punch him? And you're like, nah, let me handle this. Like, that was one of the first actual interactions that you had with Dis where you said, hey, step back. Let me...
Yeah.
It wasn't just a who took over in this instinct with a charisma save. Because that's kind of how I judge charisma saving throws. Is like, it's your essence, your entire persona.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time that you had the choice, and you're like, no, let me do it.
Yeah.
And this physically got smaller as there's still, I mean, Cole has seen it, Ariel has heard it, or vice versa. Let's flip those. Ariel has seen it, Cole has heard it.
Yeah.
That there's several other entities inside there that this is constantly fighting.
Yeah.
So with this big, scary man who's telling you that your anger is a gift, don't let it be poisoned by hatred, already been told within your own mind as a small child that the darkness consumes, and you being like, hey, let's set a boundary with him, but still owing your life to him, because the only reason why you still breathe is because you let this inside you.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh man, I'd say West, he's there's a lot of things going on with him that he's very much the kind of guy that just kind of goes with the motion of it, and he's more reactionary than actionary, I would say. In the sense of, I mean, as I think Addy pretty much pointed it out best when he was having this talk with them, it's just like, you're only doing this because other people tell you. You're not giving yourself your own agency. You're just letting yourself be there, and in with that, you're letting these things happen to you. And so, I guess Grog yelling at Wes like that kind of gave him enough anger about it that he is finally kind of putting himself first. Kind of with the conscious realization of, I need this is for me. this is something I need to do. I can't do this for anyone else. I can't let anyone else do this for me. So and I guess it's in a way like West has always had kind of an issue with identity in that sense.
Yeah.
So now he's finally figuring out who West is. So that's where he's at right now.
Then it's it's gonna be a hard.
Which I have I mean in terms of writing, at least specifically for West and for things West is a part of, I have always had him written as to be specifically coded as a character. So that I feel kind of plays a little into who he is.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
He's a good boy.
He's
certainly trying.
There's two things. I know we have a other subject in mind, but there's two things that I think are very important to be said as a growing and maybe a healing process for a character such as West, being a person that has learned to deal with anger. You can have anger issues and never punch a wall or yell at somebody. It's you can suppress it deep down, and it's also poisonous.
Like it'll be there.
Yes. It's the idea with this anger therapy pamphlet that for a course that I read, pretty much stating that anger is an emotion that everybody has, and it's perfectly normal.
It's valid to feel anger.
Usually, anger is a
Healthy
secondary.
to feel angry.
Yes, it is. Anger is secondary to something else, and usually the reason why somebody feels angry is because they're feeling this an injustice. They're feeling that you are wrong. That is what's telling you, like, hey, this is not okay. Like, you are mistreating me, so I'm getting angry about it. It's our brain's defense mechanism. So I kind of grasps onto that when I was like writing Grog's purpose for this game, since he is a master of rage, Vince's high level, and it's like you can be a good-hearted barbarian, you can be a good-hearted fellow, and just use that like anger for a purpose. Don't let the anger become poisoned and hate, but use it to like what you want. Like that's why he asked you, what do you want to do? Why are you fighting?
Yeah, use it for the right reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
and
like everything else in life, everything serves a purpose. And if anger is used at the right purpose, then it works positively. If anger is used at the wrong purpose, then you'll get a negative result in negative environment.
Yeah. You use that anger when someone insults your significant other. Like, no, stand up to the bully.
Exactly.
But if you don't get your way, so you get angry and you shitpost online, that's not a really good.
You're not really solving anything. Like I'm gonna say, learning from experience, you're not solving anything by just vague tweeting somebody online. Like your anger's not gonna go away. You're just getting angrier.
Yeah, exactly. You're what's that? Like, oh, you're letting them live free in your head.
You're just you just that whole thing. Yeah, if you're just gonna get angry and turn around and just like yell about it on the internet, then you're not solving anything. You're not healing that anger.
For sure.
You're not being progressive with it.
And there's another thing that had to do with Wes, but I kind of forgot. It was anger and then something else.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something to do with psychology. I'm
reading chat right now, and the comment came in for horror and got free anger management therapy. Ain't even mad about it. Thank you, Shelby, for joining us.
Oh, my bad.
I'm sorry, we didn't schedule this therapy session. I apologize.
Oh man. Well, I'll remember it eventually. I hate that thought. When something's on the tip of your tongue, you're like, what was it?
I have nothing but jokes on that, but anyway.
You know, sometimes it'd be like that. Alrighty. So, as I'm opening our little text chat.
Yeah, we can dissect West as a character later.
Yeah, no, let's dissect him right now.
Add on and
Yes.
enjoyed the
You enjoyed?
cat fight that.
Yes, we enjoyed the cat fight between Addie and Cole. We're all shipping it, Tabitha.
Oh, that
I'm
was
about to throw my fork.
hilarious.
Don't throw your
At
fork at
you.
me, please. Please learn to take this anger you're feeling and use it progressively. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm so glad that everybody, including Grog, enjoyed that.
It was good stuff.
It was really good. I enjoyed it. Okay, as where the heck?
I apologize. I'm about to take a giant bite of chicken parmesan, so you collect
Okay, here
your
we go.
thoughts.
All right, okay. So, topic of tonight is horror. So, where's my little quote? Here it is. Okay. Double boiling trouble, fire burning cauldron bubble. I love that. How do you write scary things, yo? That's horror storytelling. Reading off of Stephen King, which I think he.
At me.
What happened?
No, Tabitha's like, why is it you look at me whenever he says writing horror? And I'm like, well, I mean...
I mean, horror is a great genre. Horror is a...
no, it's a fantastic genre. I love it.
Yeah, it's
I like watching it, but I love
was
it.
gonna say, Vic loves writing it. Can't sit and watch a horror movie.
the best horror films that I have is when the horror represents something like a classic one that can be easily understood as like Godzilla, like the origin of what it would represent and represented the bomb. Like when a catastrophe or a horrible event or horrible emotion can manifest into a scary clown or a big spider monster, like those are something that we can grasp and identify and like, oh, that's really cool. So Stephen King, I think he has some credibility in the horror community as a person
He certainly has written stuff.
Yeah, he's written quite a few things.
I think he's written a few books on it.
So much, he has his own universe.
He does.
Yeah.
He has the Stephen King cinematic universe. Like how we have the Divide and Conquer cinematic universe now.
Yes, that's very true. So I'm trying to find. So he says that there's 3 types of terror. The grossed out terror. I guess your classic horrors, and then so like so gross out like your head spinning or just grotesque slime and your cannibalism, gore, like your gory films, your gory stories. That's a way that you can invoke it. Horror, which is like supernatural, things in the dark, things that go bumping, things that we don't quite understand when the lights go out. You know, those kind of things. The classic jump scare that's not a horror tactic is that should not count.
That is a psychological tactic, and it needs to stop.
Yeah, jump scares are not scary. Jump scares are...
I like slow burn horror.
Jump scares are not scary. They just give me a fucking panic attack. Thank you.
Yeah. And then terror is when something like when you come home and notice that everything that you own has been taken or replaced.
I love terror more.
Yeah, things that...
Being on the plane going down.
Yeah, the things that you can legitimately relate to, like, oh my god, I have been there. What if this would have happened? Like those stories of that one lady in Japan who lived inside this man's house for like 2 years, just inside the covers. Like that
Stranger.
is the well, I mean,
that's a stranger. Let's be real.
Yeah.
He would secretly hide in someone's cupboard for like 2 years, and just like crawl out every now and then to get like a bag of popcorn. I'm like, what is that crunching I hear at night?
Yeah.
It is me. I am under your floorboards.
So, you guys have written a lot more than I will ever write. Well, have you guys ever written anything that would be classified within the horror genre?
Yes, actually.
Yeah, tell me about it.
We can. We can say, because we're working on it as an actual module that we want to bring forth as that we want to bring.
Everything
That,
with,
yes.
a little town called Purgatory.
Yeah, so we're working on we've talked about it a little bit before, but Tabitha and I have been working on a tabletop module that runs off of 5th edition mechanics, where it's kind of set as a supernatural cowboy thriller. I would say that it falls along the lines of it's obviously supernatural, and it also plays a lot into like themes of like existentialism and like what happens when you die. And basically, it's the whole concept falls with you have passed, you have died, your soul has now moved on. However, it's not where you think it's going. Like the whole like Judeo-Christian heaven or hell. Instead, you get put in this place called Purgatory. As Chad says, it's gothic cowboy stuff, and I love it. But yeah, it's basically Purgatory because it's just this limbo in between where
also made a movie about that. There was a movie called Purgatory it was a cowboy town that basically they were between heaven and hell, and they didn't know it.
Yeah. So
except for one guy.
Yeah. So how this one works is when you basically come into this limbo, you are pulled out of a grave by the Undertaker. You're taken into town, and basically the whole thing is explained to you. By the way, you're dead now. This is your life as you know it, and for however long you're going to stay in this existence, because not even your soul is permanent in this existence. You're going to eventually corrupt and die because the soul is like as bare as it is, it's either going to be swayed by like good action or bad action. So it kind of plays a little into Call of Cthulhu with the madness counter. So if you collect enough madness points, then you start to kind of turn into this like monster, like this hideous monster that starts to prey on souls.
I mean, the Jedi game, Star Wars Saga, does the same thing. Like, how many light points, how many dark points do you have?
Which, I guess goes also into the types, the categories of horror with just with the creatures, with the corrupt themselves.
Yeah, supernatural horror. It kind of falls into like the terror category in that way, because it's like, I guess, the inevitability of losing control of something. Like just that imposing dread that you know that you have a expiration date at some point, but you don't know when it is. It's I mean, mirroring real life in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just I guess it kind of like amps it up a little bit in the sense of here's a physical manifestation that shows this. And so these are monsters in the realm that you will have to have combat with from time to time, and there's like we're trying to write out small like little stories. Yeah,
I would say like with Banes themselves, would you consider them terror too? Because
they're parasitic. So it kind of also plays into the whole John Carpenter's The Thing trope, where there's a monster that could get inside you.
Yeah, that's specifically with because I've been the one that's been coming up with like I guess the different types, and I've always found a fascination with botflies. Anything.
Yeah, I know you have like a hard fascination with botflies. Do not recommend to Google that. Just FYI.
No, please
Google that with full caution.
Google that right now.
Yeah, no, there's literally a version of these things that what they do is they lure their prey by using mimicry to sound like either a child in distress or a person in distress.
You're right. So from there we're playing off of Native American folklore in that sense regarding certain creatures that also do that.
Oh, okay. When Dagos and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
But no, if these things catch you, I mean, they don't look like much, but when they do catch you, essentially you're gonna get stuck with something that's akin to a botfly.
Yeah, basically, and then
sucks.
But yeah, it's a whole thing. Like it's mostly gonna be like geared towards like gothic horror in that sense.
I was gonna say it feels cowboy Reverend lofty.
Yeah.
Which I do like the concept of that of I'm assuming there's like a small town or many small towns, and you're you can live here and there's society, and since there's an Undertaker, there's rules and there's things and probably like a brewery and you can just go stay at the inn and drink and play cards, but eventually you will die.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Going out into the unknown is creatures, but that's the only way that you will advance up or down depending on your actions here.
Basically,
So,
yeah.
like, either you stay here and you die, or you try to do something about it, and you can sway how the world will affect you sways up or down, which is a pretty it's a pretty interesting concept for a game.
Yeah.
It definitely I know that was watching Chris, who's one of the writers for D&D, like how to write modules, and it's like what can you do to motivate 90% of the population to do a thing, like just saying there's gold in the cave, go kill the dragon isn't necessarily a good reason. Like people are just gonna be
yeah, especially if you're in basically within a premise of a town that is the afterlife. How do you persuade anyone to do anything? Because it's like, well, I'm already dead. What do I got to live for?
Yeah,
like this is it.
Yeah, and since you are one of the few adventurers, that's why you're playing the game. You're one of the heroes. You have already a goal: is get out of here.
Yeah, figure out if there's a way to get out. Especially if you're a character that maybe died wrongly, and you're like, I want to go back. Let me go back. There, you could probably try to adventure to solve that problem. To see if maybe there is truly a way out, or if there's truly a way into the next life, or going up or down.
That's pretty cool, dude. I really do enjoy that. That's a really good idea.
I have to mention one thing that is probably my favorite thing that we've written for this, and that is we have an entire, because you can't have a game without villains. So we have constructed an entire cult around the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and I love it so much.
Nice, dude. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I really do dig the Four Horsemen. But most of the
they're fun to write about.
Yeah. Most things in Judeo-Christian lore is fascinating to me, and I really dig it.
It's so much fun to pick apart.
Yeah, it really is.
I'm noticing in chat that Lynn says Alistair Comic will have horror elements at points. Of course it will, because I'm writing it. Spoiler alert.
Good.
we're gonna put these boys through the ringer, and it's gonna be fun.
I was gonna say have you guys ever played a horror RPG? But it sounds like you're writing one already.
Yes.
I've barely played Call of Cthulhu, and it just wasn't doing it for me.
It's definitely a really slow game to take in.
Yeah, and I
especially if you're I guess if you're a player that's more oriented to doing things and more combat mechanics, so it's a hard game to get into.
It is, and I think that when you do a horror game, the narrator, your GM or DM, really needs to own the scene. They really need to make sure that you're understanding the gravity of the situation.
It's
more
definitely
so than anything else. Because,
no, I was gonna say it's definitely one of those things where the narrator needs to really understand horror pacing.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where one of the good things that HP has made is leave it up to you. Just give them enough bits so they fill in the blanks with their worst situation. Just enough detail, or switch it up and over detail the horror. Over, I know that in
hyper detail.
One of the situations for the Harry Potter group, when they found a tree full of banshees. It wasn't important, but one of the players asked me, how decayed is a body? Let's get into it. Let me describe the coloration, the bruising, and the flies. Let's go into the maggot. Let's see what the earth is doing around it. That gives it its shock. Yeah. But you can't do that, and this is why the Cthulhu game for me didn't work when I played it that one time. It was all scary 24/7. You don't pull away from it, and when you don't pull away from it, and you don't have that contrast, it doesn't become scary.
Yeah, you get desensitized really fast.
Yeah, I'm gonna open this door. Something scary's gonna be there. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to walk through this hallway. Something scary's gonna be there. Okay, cool.
It's like, it's like, I guess, for example, like, whenever you're either watching or like partaking in like a horror game, and you just hear that like very off-putting like crescendo of violin, and if that keeps going for 5 whole minutes, it's gonna be white noise at some point.
It is. There's very few times where that happens, and the reason I was saying is because we just did a film review about it, and it's gonna come out in a couple of days.
Oh, nice.
In the Color Out of Space.
Oh God, you watched that?
Yeah, for 5 minutes.
Oh my God,
there was that string crescendo, but it wasn't your normal horror because at first everything was lit, everything was colorful. There was pinks and purples everywhere.
That was a vibrant movie.
The horror was the madness. It is getting madder. It is getting crazier. It wasn't just like ooh boo monster. I really want to say that I love the horror genre, but I think the horror genre why I love it is because I'm not watching horror movies every single night.
Yeah.
I watch it like twice a week or something. If your campaign is horror and it's always horror, you need to give your players something to contrast. Yeah. That's why really old Tim Burton movies, in comparison to the new ones, had that special flair. Like you went to Halloween Town versus Christmas Town. Like there's a huge contrast. Going into
that was a good one.
Yes. It's you need your normality, and then you need the horror. Like they cannot. That's why I think your talent's gonna work so well. You have your neutral zone. You have your safe space. Once you leave it, you're going into the terror. You're preparing to go into it. The players are psychologically going to go into them.
And not to mention, there is always the option, like, if anybody ever wants to run a module like this, that, you have your safe space, and if you really want to, like, up the seriousness of a moment, you violate that safe space, and that just completely throws everyone for a loop.
So there was a good GM talk about consent in games, especially horror games like this, which I think if you do pick this genre, you're gonna have to change your gameplay. The music definitely needs to be there. It'll be
all about atmosphere.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I think it'll be best if you can turn down the lights. It'd be best if you can put like mood lighting here and there. Play out the costumes. Maybe turn down the AC for like to be colder than usual. Be like, all right, guys, it's like super serious. No phones at the table because like, oh, super scary moment. Oh, my mom texted me. Oh, hey guys, she bought a soda. Like that's gonna ruin the atmosphere, right?
Shelby, take notes right now. She told me she's trying to put together her own game that she's gonna run for some friends, and it's like very Gothic Appalachian, like Lovecraftian horror.
I would say
I heard the premise for it, and I'm like, yes.
Ask permission. Like, what is y'all's limits? Because things such as like, oh, you received this card, and as soon as like, oh shit, everybody's looking at the card, bam, slam on the table, and the window crashes. Like, oh fuck, like that. Speaking, like those.
Yeah, if you hit me with a sudden loud noise, that'll do it.
But you have to make like you don't want someone to be like, dude, I didn't fucking like that. Like, I have a phobia of spiders. All right, cool. I can make a scary story and totally take out spiders. In the last campaign, one of the players had a phobia for wolves. Like werewolves was a legitimate phobia they had. So like werewolves are out of this game. They exist, but you'll never see them. Bye. Like do those things, and it should be like to have a crawl. Don't throw the horror right away. Make them work for it.
You gotta get them settled in.
And once they figure something out, it expands. Make them step back, and there's more things to learn. And every single time they learn something new and they're getting closer to their goal, it's scarier and more grim or more menacing. Have different tones of music, like have even little things of you need to get the key to get into the room. Okay, cool. Roll an investigation. Oh, you found it. the key's inside a jar full of eyeballs. Ugh, gross. Pull
Sorry.
out a bowl full of grapes. Find the key.
Oh my god, that would be great.
Like,
I'm disgusted, but that would be great.
Those for I think for horror, because it's why do people like being scared?
Right.
I don't generally know. I'm sure there's a giant book somewhere out there that explains the psychology of it.
There's multiple psychology reports written on that.
I think that has something to do with challenging and overcoming. At the
You get that good serotonin from succeeding at something.
Yeah, and it's those aren't eyeballs. They're grapes, but the story is telling you, and you want to believe it. And the DM or GM has a serious face, and they just told your story, and you, in your mind, were in that room as the windows were cracking and the wind was blowing outside, and you just saw the shadow move. So, it's safe. But what if it's not?
You're doing a good job at describing this when I'm getting creeped out, and we're just casually talking about it.
And it's one of those things. And you're giving that consent is a big word. And it means a lot of things. And you're, in a way, when you sit at the table and someone is a dungeon master or game master, the players have given them a set consent. You're telling the story. And with that, you also, as a player, should come in with the idea of, I'm allowing you to put me in a situation where you're going to scare me. The reason why I say this is because I have a very specific moment in gaming where there was a player who... to not go too much detail, but they were entering the lair of a very high CR classic horror monster. To the point where the sun could not be seen because of the monster's chaos. Like everything was blackened. Like they kept seeing themselves being hung from trees. Like it was classic Victorian horror. And as they were walking through these woods and this landscape, I know you're not scared, and you're not gonna fight a freaking demon. You're not. You're rolling dice. You're drinking your Mountain Dew. Like you just heard my dog bark 2 seconds ago. You're not here. And obviously, but we're pretending. We're allowing ourselves to be immersed into this world. And if I'm like, super scary situation, my character walks through. Okay, yeah, you're brave, I get it. Super scary situation, nope, not scared. Okay, super scary situation, everybody's like, oh no, I'm scared. And you're like, I'm not scared because I'm the bravest there is. Like, this might not be the game for you then. If you're not allowing yourself to be put into that situation, then this might not be something for you.
Let me add something to that.
Yeah,
because,
please.
I'm hearing you guys talk. You talk about these scary spiders, scary this, scary that. When it becomes visual, then people have creepy crawler syndrome or something like that. It can be scary, but I think the unknown is scarier. Like if you deal with the environment, like I write science fiction, so it's kind of hard to get horror in there. But I try to make situations where the environment kind of makes you scared. Like
talk about the moment where you had the one player character that had the suit malfunction, and that was like a completely uncontrollable moment that was horrifying. Because that was good.
And then I also have one where in my second book, the group's walking, traveling to another area, and they camp out. And all of a sudden, all the nocturnal creatures in the area just get real quiet.
Oh, God.
And they're in the dark, and they're in a campfire. It's like all of a sudden, there's no sounds.
That's a scary situation.
Like, in my first book, first chapter is called The Last Day of Civilization, where one of the main characters is escaping from Washington, and he's in an aircraft, and he's seeing all these nuclear missiles come flying down. And I mean, just, what do you do? Or
Yeah,
another
yeah.
one where they're going through an airspace where there's some drones waiting for them. They can't see them, but they know they're there. So I think a lot of times horror is kind of your senses that you can't get something tangible. Eyesight, visual, yeah, you see it, you know it, you know. I think the very first shock of seeing something like a huge snake, a huge spider, and also our fear of the undead, zombies, vampires, you know, things like that, that also, you know, tends to our fear. But I think environmental fear is really just as
Like
strong.
like the sense of not being able to control something.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like you can be a high level wizard or whatever, but the thing out there that's making all the animals like be quiet and still and act completely against nature is you can't control that. You have no power or domain here. That's that's really good. That's
You,
awesome.
you had to say high level wizard, and my brain finished the sentence of you could be a high level wizard, but you could still have a -2 dex.
That that's just rude. That's just jabbing at somebody.
No, and I would never. But it's true.
So there uh to go on a list here. There's some tabletop games that I believe people should check out. I think Call of Cthulhu is probably the biggest one. It
Oh, yeah.
really plays into madness.
It's the most recognizable.
Yeah, yeah, it's the definitely most recognizable. There's 10 Candles, there's Dread, Vampire the Masquerade, which I think is an amazing new twist to like the horror genre. Just because vampires are real, they exist, they're in the United States. What are you gonna do about it? It is currently the year right now. The Alien RPG, which combines that sci-fi and horror, which I definitely love because especially the first time that you're seeing these creatures, you have no idea. You're out of the middle of space. Nobody can help you. There's another one that I think it's a good twist on like the horror genre, which is My Life with Masters, where essentially you're playing one of these classic monsters, but there's human masters out there. What do? You are a mummy or something. You are a werewolf, but you have a human master. What do we do? Like that those would be some like interesting things. And when you do these horror games, I think like as an example, you can't play Dread for an entire year, right? Eventually the story will get old. You can't just play Vampire the Masquerade. No, maybe Vampire the Masquerade because you can do many things. But like eventually Call of Cthulhu will get boring because like, oh, well, all right, my character went mad. Guess I got to make a new one. Okay. It just like when you're stuck in one genre, I think the game will get stale if it's long. I think shorter campaigns like Court of the Dragon, 30 episodes, 35 episodes, 40 episodes. I think those are great sweet spots. But something along the lines like Sacred World that we're playing, we're at 100 episodes in, but and I do like horror, and every time that I can, y'all will see me throw in a spooky thing because the main villain is a classic, like they're classic witches. Those are your villains, right? So they are part of the classic trope of horror. But I'm not gonna throw that all the time. You need other things. You need that brawl fight. You need to spend time in a city where a gnome is trying to flirt with every single one of the characters. Like you need these other breaks and emotions so you get relaxed, and then we introduce the spookiness. But yeah, I mean, like there's crap tons of horror books and movies and podcasts and stuff. I'm gonna actually throw this question in the chat. If you have any recommendations on any books or podcasts or movies or games, please put it in. Let others know. I would really like to take a look into some of these because that sounds cool.
Yeah.
I'm opening up the let's look at chat. Ask questions, chat. Um,
Full disclosure: trying to draw Sonya is always a challenge.
we have the White Vault and
Yes, the
Orthodox.
White Vault is so good.
Uh-huh.
That is a really good podcast. It's very it's condensed to like 20-minute episodes about.
Okay.
And it's so far it's right now I'm on season 3. And it's season 4, excuse me. Season 4. And it goes super quick. So you can be sitting there just like binging it and next thing you know you're like already in season 3 and you're like,
Oh, those are
"Whoa."
good. Those are good.
It's so good. Like I highly recommend it. Let's see. Yeah, Magnus Archives. I just started the first episode. I need to get onto the second one, but I'm super obsessed with the White Vault. It very much plays into supernatural. Like it goes like it bends supernatural mostly, but it plays off the fear of the unknown in that sense. So it like literally the premise for it is you have a science team going to a base in a very secluded area of the world, and a lot of weird stuff starts happening, and it's all documented found footage style, but it's a podcast, so all you're getting is audio. And they orchestrate it in such a way that it's fantastic.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, like they use they'll use like camera, like the sound from camera footage. They'll like play with distortion to like elevate like the moment, and it's like, oh my god, such good stuff.
That's great.
Yeah.
Post production things are amazing. It's one of those things where like because our shows are live, so like what happens. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
But that's mastering and editing things is definitely a love. That's why
I think for sure you'll like the White Vault because how they edit it together is just a beautiful to me.
Nice. I wanted to throw out a question for for you writers. So going with the unknown, from a film perspective, I'm throwing in the question to try to like grasp it into a writer's perspective. My biggest complaint with horror movies is one is, well, the villain, the demon, the ghost, the whatever can do whatever it wants. And once you can do whatever you want, it kind of just
it kind of breaks its own rules.
Yeah, it loses me, and I really like it. Like I think Freddy Krueger is it's my go-to classic. I love the idea of that universe because Freddy Krueger has rules. And the points I think for you need to give your players, your readers, the main characters a way to try to grasp those rules and overcome them or break them to get out of the scary situation. Like you can't go to sleep. He will comfort you in your dreams. So how do we play that? How do we manipulate that? You will eventually die in purgatory. Your soul is not eternal. How do you get out of the situation? So yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Should I don't think this is my opinion. I don't think the audience should know sorry. I don't think the player, the main character should necessarily know the rules. I think they're supposed to discover these rules as the story carries on, and once you reach that eureka moment, let's come up with a plan to defeat the big baddie. But I'm not a writer, so what do you guys think?
But you got to make sure it's not cliche, because if it's cliche, it'll just kill the whole thing right then and there.
You mean you can't kill it with the power of love?
Power of friendship? What?
Okay. That's a really, really good one. I like that. Yeah, cannot be cliched.
Yeah, I think it depends on the cliche, and you have to like really know the cliche, especially if you want to make it work well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think enders are really hard with these type of situations. How do you? How, like, especially with because play a lot of RPGs and combat is such a big thing in a lot of these. How do you? That's one of my conundrums, I guess. With how do we win the campaign, and it's not just a big boss fight at the end?
Right. Yeah. Once it hits like everybody banding together to beat up the bad guy, it just kind of loses its edge.
Yeah, it's fun and it's rewarding, and the players will definitely be like, "Oh, yay!" But it's just when you see it so much, when you read it so much, when every movie is just kill Thanos, like it needs to be something more. How do we do it? How is it satisfying?
Hold on, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember the name of this game that I kind of like. I didn't play it because I don't have a PlayStation, but I did like one of those YouTube walkthroughs. Oh crap! Until Dawn. It was a whole game based around a bunch of kids it was like cabin in the woods scenario.
Yeah.
Let's go up the mountains and like have a party. There was like a whole horror scenario that happened. My sister died out in the woods and we never knew what happened to her. And then you like all these like you find out what happens, there's monsters involved. And I like I like how it ended because it's a game where it can end many different ways depending on how you play it. But like I guess the true ending where quote unquote everybody lives, it wasn't the whole let's band together, power of friendship to beat the bad guy, let's beat the monster. No, they literally just like ran for their fucking lives and just didn't look back.
Yeah, it was 100%.
That's survival. A good option. Yeah, 100% survival.
I will let you know, as a person who just played that game and beat it not that long ago, I freaking hate the game.
That's fair.
It has a great concept. I hate the game only because it's one of those games where, and this is where it goes into the it's a great idea, great concept. The execution was bad.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I was more into it for the story itself, so I didn't play it.
The game gives you that the butterfly effect, so every time you do something, it has a positive or negative consequence depending on who you interact with. And so, like, oh, cool, so all my actions have consequences. None of your actions have consequences until the very end, and then it's if you make one simple mistake, that character dies.
Dang.
And it's like, oh, so I did not press triangle at the right moment. All right, cool. The Wendigo killed you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The wingding.
The wingding, yeah. And also, please don't recap every 5 minutes, especially in a video game.
Yeah.
That's like
See, our experiences were like completely different because I just clicked it into movie mode and just watched it like a movie.
Oh, then that's great. That sounds amazing. That sounds way better than anything that I have experienced. Oh man, I always had this give the idea of giving establishing the rules of the horror, of the creature, of the environment, of whatever the situation is. It only comes out at night. Like, don't go past the gates. It can't come inside of a church. Like, these are established rules, right? And it gives the horror because the horror has already pretty much won and you're trying to survive. That's why I really don't like poltergeist movies or all, because it just... Yeah. Why is a ghost not just... The ghost wants you out of the house. Cool, kill them. You literally can do it. You have the power to do it in 10 seconds.
Yeah, like if the ghost has all the power to like move stuff around and like take people into like the ethereal realm, then like they could have done something about it. It's just at that point you're just dragging things out. I think from a writing standpoint, it's one of those things where you have the established rules of the monster or the ghost or the demon or whatever. Like the whole example that you put where they can't enter this specific area. And maybe the reason why they can't enter that specific area is because there's something hallowed there that is preventing their energy from interceding with it. So that's where you can bend the rules to kind of push it a little further. So what if that thing that was there was removed? Then they can enter, and then they can fuck shit up.
Yeah.
But like it's basically like being conscious of the rules you have and learning how to bend it in a way that's workable without completely breaking the game or the story just to get to a plot point. Like don't write for the sake of a plot point, just like I guess just think about it as you go. Like that's how I would view it.
Yeah. I agrees. I likes.
Yeah, yes.
Or you could just railroad everything and just tell
Or yeah, you just railroad everything. It's whatever, you have the power, you have the control, write whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got. Yeah.
I was given the feedback of like, man, your one shot sounds very railroady. Like, it's a one shot. It's
Exactly.
This is a one shot. It's gonna be railroady.
Exactly.
I need you to be here because we have a break in 10 minutes and people need a potty.
Exactly. Yeah, no,
I was reading chat.
I remember the whole. I remember like getting comments like that. Like, why is your game so railroady? It's because it's a goddamn module, my dude.
Yeah, it's we have points that we need to hit.
I gotta hit these points, and I gotta try to fucking push you cats into that area. Thank you.
Yeah, that's why. This is just a general situation. It's okay, and please, game masters, be comfortable being like, all right, guys. Here's a lot of options. What are you doing? Because I have 1 week to write it.
Exactly. Or the game's tomorrow. Tell me what the hell you're doing right now.
Yeah, like that. Those are really good. I know Lynn was talking
Love
about
me that last minute crunch.
Last minute crunch.
PT.
Yeah, PT. I don't know what PT stands for. PT is an amazing game. I love PT.
I hate it.
You have a weird thing with things that scare me and make me happy. I did not know that it stands for playable teaser.
I don't like it.
Like, I love PT. PT's right. I think you should play Layers of Fear because Layers of Fear is like, I think, a dumbed down PT.
I don't want to play it.
By the way, speaking of games that you don't want to play, I have been DM'd. When are we going to continue playing games that scare you, Vic? I was personally messaged by some peoples, some fans, some
what? Oh, fans? Okay.
Some fams.
I don't
want to call people fans.
People that are, I would say, people that are fans of watching me lose my shit.
What? Yeah. They enjoy your pain.
You really want me to yell at you, don't you? Like, that's what you want. You want me to just be screaming at you from the other end angrily because that's my response to fear.
Oh.
So, keying back into the previous topic about how anger is a secondary emotion.
Lynn wants to DM a Call of Cthulhu game for us. Please, thank you.
Can I play Stranger?
Yeah, dude. Let's do it.
Let me play Stranger. I will be the crazy Russian man who clearly has PTSD from some unspeakable horror that he has seen. I'll be starting the game at max madness, thank you. Good shit.
Man.
Yes.
I think it's that we're reaching that point of
Are we reaching that point?
Yeah, like, alright, all my topics are talked about. What do you guys want to talk about? What's up, chat? What are you doing? What's up?
Let's see.
What has chat said?
So apparently everybody wants Lynn to DM a Call of Cthulhu.
Alright, it is
a crazy Russian spy was my first Call of Cthulhu character. Lynn, we need to stop sharing the same brain cell, obviously.
Next charity event, Lynn is doing Call of Cthulhu. Got it?
Okay. That'd be fun. Oh man.
I need to brush up on my Victorian characters. Or is it modern day?
Or you could be just a guy that pretends to be a Victorian character in modern day.
That sounds better.
Quirky. Love it.
Love it.
Her name was Natasha. That sounds like that sounds like that'd be one of my many aliases. So looking at a driver's license that clearly has a woman named Natasha, and I'm like, you don't look like a. That picture was taken when I was 16. A lot has happened since then. I never updated my picture. Quick, what's everyone's favorite horror movie? Don't think, just say it.
And Hellraiser.
Halloween.
Halloween's good. Halloween's really
The
good.
very first one.
Halloween's good. Halloween's a good one. It's a really good one.
That's
Why is Halloween your favorite horror movie?
The music.
Yeah.
Also, what's amazing about that movie, it cost only. This is back in the late '70s. It cost only about $200,000 to put that movie together.
Oh.
And they profited big time.
Yeah, they did.
But what they did with that movie was that music. Whenever like he's supposed to show up, sometimes they play the music and he doesn't show up. Sometimes they play the music, he does show up. Sometimes he shows up without the music. So I mean, after you get through that, through about most of the movie, then near the end when they start playing that music, you're just like, oh shit, here we go. Something's going down now.
I never saw Halloween in theaters except for the newest one, the one that came out.
First one was, I mean, people were screaming.
I need to see a new one.
I'll give you another one that scared the shit out of people, and that was The Exorcist.
Yeah, I really
love me some good Judeo-Christian horror.
I really love The Exorcist. It like the first one, I thought it was great, and I still think it's one of the best horror movies out there. The book is fantastic, but the which is really weird in my book because I'm dating a scientist, and the reason why I like this other The Exorcism of Emily Rose, I think was a much scarier film because it brought in real life scenarios. Let's explain what an exorcism is. Let's explain these teachers. Let's go to the courtrooms and talk about this. Like, was it okay for a priest to do this? Was the family practicing, was the girl being malnourished? Were they abusing her? Was this, like, psychological torture? And, like, I think because that's real, that could happen nowadays. It probably has. At the same time, explaining the what the girl was. It doesn't matter if it was real or not. It was real for her, and that was the scary part. I think the courtroom scenes and all that stuff was brought in a new world, and the scientific explanations brought in new views on it, a more modern one, and I really, really, really loved it. I think the best line in that movie, even though it's not my favorite movie, and I think this is my favorite movie just because of nostalgia, but I think the best line of that movie is they're like, oh, why did you stay why were you trying to be a martyr? Why did you, like, if you had a chance, if God gave you a chance to like go and not be possessed by these demons, why were you possessed by them? Why did you choose it? Like, oh, well, it's simple. If I can show the world that the devil exists, then they will believe in God. And I'm like,
damn,
that is the OP line of OP. Like, that is a good line.
I just wanted him to be my friend.
I just wanted him to be my friend. Why is he being a jerk?
He's a jerk and yelling at me all the time. I just want him to be my friend.
I'm seeing John
taking all my quesadillas,
which I think it's a great classic as well. I really I love Hellraiser so much, and I feel that they could have done so much more.
I'm so sad. I'm so sad to come out of the room for this.
It's such a beautiful concept, and they don't. And I'm sad.
I'm sad.
I'm sad.
I'm sad Tab's not in the room for this conversation. She had to take a phone call.
Oh,
so she loves Hellraiser.
Oh, we should discuss Hellraiser.
Oh yeah. For me, without thinking, my favorite horror movies, as always, my top one is going to be John Carpenter's The Thing. It was such a fantastic film, and I love the little details that you pick up on as you keep rewatching it. Like one of my favorite ones is how it was mentioned that they purposefully lit in specific ways to let you know when the monster was in the room, and you didn't even know it.
Yeah.
That's some good shit. I'm like, yes.
Like they gave you, they told you.
They told you. The information was all there. It's just you needed to see it for yourself. And second favorite is, it's always telling of me as a person, but Evil Dead.
Evil Dead's good. Evil Dead.
I love Evil Dead.
Evil Dead would not have been a good movie as it is because nobody was taken seriously and people were getting pissed off and cranky. if it wasn't for our
it was
bro.
filmed on a it was filmed on a budget of $20 now.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, I look at Evil Dead and I'm like, man, I've been on film sets like that.
Yeah.
What was the scariest book you ever read? Because sometimes the book can hit you harder than the movie.
That's true. I've only read one horror book, and it was what's this? Trying to remember the name of the author. It was about a kid who grew up in a graveyard, and he grew up with ghosts, and the ghosts were his family. He was just literally thrown out of a carriage as an infant, and so all these ghosts were taking care of him, and they were preparing him as an adult and how to go to school and all that stuff. It was a short story. That's the only horror material I've ever read in book format.
For me, I can't recall any horror books that I've specifically. Okay, all right, one comes to mind, but it was like a spin-off from Death Note, and that was following like a murder case that happened in LA, like before the events of the actual story of Death Note began. And that involved the serial killer Beyond Birthday. He was doing like these like Zodiac killer level like clues and shit. And like at the very end, when you figure out what's going on, it hits like that kind of oh shit moment. But other than that, the only thing that I remember pretty much scaring me while I read it was in the fantasy novel Aragon, and that had to do with there was like these two entities that were like constantly hunting him down, if I recall, and they were like obviously not human, and they like did not look human, and it was just kind of like that creeping dread of something is following you and you don't know what it is. So that it was yeah.
The Goat Man.
Yes, like the Goat Man.
I love the Goat Man.
And then it reached a point where they actually finally caught him, and then you're like, oh shit, what's gonna happen now? So that was the whole thing.
I don't think for my view, I just because I've said it 100 times in this podcast, I think short is good for horror.
Yes.
So for me, creepypastas are, which I wouldn't call them a book by any means, but creepypastas have definitely been like the closest I've ever been to like, oh, that's creepy. Like, oh shit. Yeah. I think creepy hit like for me, it's the perfect amount of horror.
If you've been on horror TikTok, they hit that 1 minute mark where they could really creep you the fuck out in like a minute.
Good.
So
yeah.
that's there's some videos on there that have scared the shit out of me.
I think my favorite, and I think this is why I also love Hellraiser. The idea of your own personal hell being a thing to be achieved, because it's I don't know why that concept is fascinating to me. The idea of pain is also pleasure, and if you can get the right dose, hell is your heaven.
Okay, Des.
And well, this is different.
Okay.
This is just a sad boy in a sad place who cannot change.
Poor boy.
That's why there was this creepypasta. My favorite one, other than the Russian Experiment. I think the Russian Experiment is great.
The Russian Sleep Experiment creeps the fuck out of me.
That one's
that's
a good one.
Stuff.
Yeah. I forget what it's called. I think it's just called the Bar or Hell's Bar, where this person is like, I guess, tired of nightclubs, and so they promise him like, hey, he went to every single bar in New Orleans, and they promise him this they're like, oh, if you're tired of everything else, why don't you come with us to hell? And he's like, okay, cool. And like he meets he meets this goth chick, and he's like, oh, you guys are playing this really well. They get on an elevator and they start going down. It's like, oh, I see the tricks. What's up?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I'm just laughing at it.
And they're like, oh, I see the tricks you're doing. You're putting like a screen behind the thing, so it looks like we're going down forever, and you're turning up the heat ever so slightly. Good tricks. I like it. And once they reach the bartender is like, wow, this is a really crappy bar. Like, all right, what do you have? What I was like, oh, I want a rum and coke. He's like, oh, we don't have that. Like, all right, I want a beer. We don't have that. What do you have? Despair. Like, ha 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 ha. All right, I get it. Give me one of those. And then he just starts, after he drinks, there's this like lady who's like, who's smoking and cannot stop smoking. And he's like, I just want water. Like, nope, you don't get water. Here's another pack of cigarettes. And the lady starts smoking again. And there's like a person like torturing himself and a person cutting themselves in the corner. And they're like, oh my God, what the hell is happening? Like, why are all these people hurting themselves? Why is they're all reliving a bad experience and cannot get out of this loop? Like, you wanted to be in hell. You're in hell, kid. And it's like that. Like, I think that is the perfect level of it, where it's you're explaining the situation. You're in hell. You're explaining you're reliving the thing that killed you or your worst decision in your life that brought you here. You're going to relive that. Don't explain anything else. Oh, but how did they get there? What part of New Orleans is it? No. That doesn't matter. That's unknown. We don't care about it. It's just enough. And now every time you walk in New Orleans and you see an abandoned house, you'd be like, oh, is that the place? Is that where hell is? Like, I think those hit just the right enough spot. Just a couple of pages, mwah, beautiful. Chef's kiss.
All I could think of is that's exactly how West would end up in hell. This bar fucking sucks. All right, you want to go to hell? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, all right. Oh, you actually meant hell. I thought you... Okay.
Yeah.
Ariel, come pick me up. I'm scared.
I was like, all right. Let me call
I was like, God damn it.
Paylor, damn it.
Paylor, damn it. Okay. Oh, you're back. Hi. Favorite horror movie without thinking, go.
Reanimator.
Damn.
Oh
okay.
my God, Reanimator. Yes, Reanimator is good.
Very good. We were talking about Hellraiser for a bit.
Oh, Hellraiser's good too.
Hellraiser is.
Well,
it missed a couple of spots,
then...
but yeah, it's one of those, like, as a kid I enjoyed it a lot, and I think that the more I think about it, I'm like, I think it's just I like Xenobots. That I like their aesthetic. I like the idea that they're constantly in a state of torture, and that's just their being. It's really, really, really good.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
The head scene of Reanimator in chat, yes.
I just recently went back to watching Reanimator because I had seen bits and pieces of it, but I was like, no, I need to actually sit and watch it. Shane, the entire scene that you're talking about.
I have no idea what Reanimator is.
It's on Shudder. I can give you my account. You can watch it. It's on Shudder, dude.
Nah, it's okay. I just don't know what it is.
I
was just like, I have no idea what anyone's talking about.
No, but at the same time, like that.
I am a good
John
boy
Carpenter's
that doesn't
thing.
watch a lot of horror movies.
But you can sit there and watch John Carpenter.
Because it's art.
It is art.
I love me some monsters that eat people. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Well,
And assume their form and make you think that they're actually a person, but secretly inside they're a horrifying eldritch abomination that's nothing but eyes and teeth.
as I'm looking through my notes, all right, I'll keep thinking that.
I'm on to you.
It's really funny because you
everything that
I said
happened
things. It's funny because I said things. Yes,
Yeah.
Jesus, I know.
yeah.
I'm afraid.
Every time that
So
you're
much.
like, oh, this thing, like, oh, well then. Interesting.
Checks a box on the DM notes.
Mhm. Keep on, keep going, keep going.
Yeah. What else psychologically tortures you?
oh, yes. All right. Yeah. I'm looking at you like you guys can see me, but I'm just staring at a flame on my screen.
You're clear. It's funny because when I stare at you, I'm actually staring at my mic. Need you to know that.
Mic. I am a mic.
You are the mic.
Yeah. Any final thoughts or ideas? Any
I know
experiences?
it was mentioned in chat that Shane had to go get dinner. He just wanted to make sure that we touched base on how to build atmosphere in a game, which I believe we did.
Yeah. I think
For a minute.
for slow build is definitely a way to go. And
slow burn is best burn.
Play with your surroundings. Play with the music. Give them horror is a very specific thing. Like you need to change your environment quite literally where you're sitting. Make it colder, make it hotter. Play with the lights. Give them a tangible thing to touch. Like amplify it. Ask them what they're actually afraid of, what their limits are. Play with it. Get involved. Get up. If you're I think the best way to do Strahd would be if you dress like Strahd, and when you're talking to Strahd, the DM walks around the table. Own the scene.
Dress like Strahd now.
Yeah, bro. Let's make you. When you do your Strahd campaign, I will freaking buy you an outfit, my dude. And
listen,
we can give you some grape juice and call it wine.
Excuse me, I drink. I literally drink nothing but cranberries and vodka, so that's fine.
Okay, there you go. Perfect. Perfect.
Don't look at my notes about how I'm making Strahd a glamour gay. Don't look at them.
Ooh. Oh.
Great. Now Jesus is gonna romance Strahd.
I'm speaking. No, I tend to. I think every single one of my characters is like 100% asexual because that's
fair.
That's kin to my needs more. That's why when I wrote to you like, oh, I think my guy would like this person, but then realize they don't like them. They just like their personality, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of don't romance the vampire, I'm so thankful no one attempted to do that in the Lord of the Rings one shot.
Oh, to romance the vampire?
Yeah, I'm so thankful no one attempted.
Yeah, Ugly's too goddamn stupid for that.
All I'm saying is that she came on to me.
And you passed it by the skin of your teeth.
Hey, man.
Oh my god, just barely by like what,
you
one number?
You literally hit the DC.
Yeah, oh my god.
Fabio was literally like eye level.
Under that, you would have been screwed. And then everybody would have been having to fight Fabio, too.
It would have been like, alright, bitches, invisible, sneak attack, and sneak attack.
The power of titties would have swayed him to her side. It would have been funny.
Yeah. That's funny because when I was scrolling, I thought it was a full body image, like head to toe. So I was scrolling down. It's like, oh, tits. Why is she all tits? Jesus, like I was scrolling down. You saw it. I thought there was more. Nope.
Jesus, I just rewatched it, and that's literally when the image came out. That was the first thing.
My plan has come to fruition.
And like, it was, it was one of those like, people are gonna say something. Because there's also the idea that I have 4 screens that I'm
identity crisis.
Yeah. Oh. And like the too much information. I'm not a person that looks for that, so it's really funny to me. I really don't care about that part of the body.
Why are you staring at me?
What? I just happened to look over in your general direction. What the hell?
He's talking. You just immediately look at me. I'm like, excuse me?
No, I was just reading Shane's comment. He really died because he decided to throw shade at her.
Oh, yeah.
He was like hated her to his court. Yes, he did.
This is very true.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good game.
There was only one thing that was beautiful in that room, and it was me.
At the same time, I had to count how many times I said I'm sorry to the players.
Never apologized to the players.
Every single time I'm rolling damage, I'm so sorry.
Jesus psychologically tortures us every week, and he never apologizes. Be like him.
I laugh internally, and that's my coping mechanism.
That's fair.
Yep.
Yep.
Alrighty, guys. Being officially 8 o'clock in the PM.
The 9:02, excuse you.
9:02. Oh, excuse me. Was it a post meridian, whatever it stands for? All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Sorry, the dog just barked. It spooked me. I was like, oh, hello.
Hello, Puppo. Thank you for tuning in and listening to us ramble and discuss ideas and thoughts. It's always fun. Thank you guys so much for participating in chat. I always love to read and hear and be closer to y'all. It's a thrill. It really is. All right. Please don't forget to be kind to one another. Please don't forget to love each other. We'll see you in the next one. Adios. Bye.
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 Toodles.